faith. And John Mark is right there, being able to watch it and being able to be a part of it. And in Acts chapter 13 and verse 13, 8 verses away from where he's there, it says, when Paul and his party set sail for Paphos, they came to Perga in Pamphylia, and John, departing from them, returned to Jerusalem. We don't know what it was that made John Mark leave, but what we do know is he quit. But then he repented. The Bible doesn't record his repentance. There's very few verses that talk about John Mark, but what we do know, and we'll see here in a moment, is that John Mark returns to be a part of these missionary endeavors. And God really uses him in a valuable way in the work of the ministry. And that type of restoration does not come without repentance. When we do something wrong, when we quit, or when we don't do what we said we would do, we can react with being sorry, but that's not always repentance. And yet, he returned. He didn't let that stop us. How often do we let embarrassment keep us from doing what we ought to do? But he returned, and not only that, but he made good. He says, I want you to come, and then he says, get Mark. Bring him with you, for he is useful to me for ministry. What an endorsement. What an endorsement from the Apostle Paul. He said, and when you come, bring a guy that's going to do us some good. Bring us a guy that we can count on. Bring Mark. What a testimony. He made good. Because it's easy to say, look, if this guy quit once, he's going to quit again. I mean, no, people don't really ever change, right? That's what the world tells us. But God did a work in the heart of John Mark. And he went from a guy who couldn't make it on a mission trip to a guy who Paul said is profitable for me in ministry. He became a guy who was dependable, who was used. See, that's our calling. You know why God chooses to use weak and small and foolish things to do his work? So that when his work is done, people won't go, well, that guy's really awesome. That gal, she's totally talented. That person, man, they really have it together. Look what they did. No, look what God did. God desires to restore and redeem us in the same way he did John Mark.